morning, mademoiselle.
Good morning. Is the professor home?
Have you come for your lesson?
Yes, that's right.
He's expecting you. Sit down for a moment and I'll go and tell him you're here.
Thank you.
Will you come down, sir, please? Your pupil has arrived.
Right, yes, very well, one moment. Good morning. Good morning. I suppose you are, well, you must be the new pupil, yes?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. You see that I came at the right time. I didn't want to be late.
Yes, of course. But you needn't have hurry, but I apologise for having kept you. You see, I was just finishing up. Well, you understand, I do beg your pardon. I do apologise.
Oh, but you mustn't, sir. It's perfectly all right, sir.
Yes, I'm sorry. Did you have any trouble finding the house?
Oh, not a bit. Not a little bit. But then I asked the way. Everyone here knows you.
Yes, I have lived here for 30 years. I understand you are new here. How do you like it?
Oh, I don't dislike it at all. It's a very pretty town. Charming, really. A nice park, a girls' boarding school. Oh, and then there's a bishop, lovely shops and streets and avenues.
Yes, of course, you're quite right. And yet, you know, I would just as soon live somewhere else. Paris, for example, or at least Bordeaux.
Do you like Bordeaux, sir?
I don't really know. I can't really say.
Oh, but do you know Paris?
Like Bordeaux, not exactly. Although, if I can put the question to you, Paris now is the chief town of...
Paris is the chief town of France!
Oh, yes, very good. Congratulations. You have the geography of your country at your fingertips. Yes, your chief towns.
Oh, I don't know them all yet, sir. It's not as easy as that. It's quite difficult to learn them.
Yes, well, it will come in time, mademoiselle. It will quietly does it now. It's quite beautiful weather we're having today, isn't it? Or at least it's not too bad. I mean, that's the main thing, isn't it? It's not raining. It's not snowing either.
That would be rather surprising in summer.
Yes, of course. Yes, forgive me, mademoiselle. But you must realise that one can never. One must be prepared for anything.
Oh, yes, sir, naturally.
I mean, in this modern world, one can never be sure of anything.
Snow falls in winter. Winter is one of the 4 seasons. The others are...
Yes.
Spring, and then summer, and...
It begins like automobile.
Oh, yes, autumn!
Yes, excellent. Well done, mademoiselle. You will prove to be a good student. Yes, you are intelligent, well-informed, good memory.
I really do know my seasons, don't I, sir?
Yes, you do indeed, mademoiselle. Or should I say almost, but it will come in time, and you will soon know them all of your seasons, with your eyes shut like me.
Oh, it's very difficult.
Not really, mademoiselle. A little patience, a little hard work. It will come in time, I promise.
Oh, I do so hope so, sir. I am thirsty for knowledge. And then my parents too, they want most awfully for me to persevere in my studies. They want me to specialise. They believe that nowadays a little general culture, however soundly taught, just doesn't go far enough.
Yes, your parents are quite right, of course. You must continue your studies. I apologise for saying so, but it is really quite essential. Modern life has become so complex.
Oh, I know, so complicated. Of course, I'm lucky. My parents aren't badly off. They'll be able to help me in my work so I can take the highest degrees there are.
And you would like to apply for an interview?
Oh, as soon as possible to start working for my doctor's degree. It's in 3 weeks.
Right, and if you don't mind me asking, you have your school leaving certificate?
Yes, sir, for arts and science.
Oh, well, you are very well developed by your age. Now, may I ask, what doctorates were you thinking of studying for? The material science or normal philosophy?
Oh, my parents would really prefer I read for all the doctorates, if you think it's possible in such a short time.
All the doctorates? Well, that is very courageous, mademoiselle. I must congratulate you. We will do what we can. And after all, you are very knowledgeable already, and so young too.
Oh, sir.
Right, well, we have no time to lose. If you don't mind, perhaps we could start.
Oh, but of course, sir, please don't apologise. I am anxious to start.
Well, in that case, if you could take that chair there, mademoiselle. And if you have no objection, I will sit here opposite.
Certainly, sir, but of course, please do.
Very good, excellent, mademoiselle. I see you have brought your textbooks and notebooks with you.
Yes, sir, I've got all we need.
Oh, excellent. Well, if you don't mind, then I guess we should begin.
Yes, of course, sir. I am quite ready for you, sir.
Ready for me, mademoiselle. It is I who am ready for you. I am at your service.
Oh, really, sir?
Yes. Well, then, what we shall do then is we shall make a brief examination of the knowledge that you have acquired so far, and then we will be able to figure out the lines that we must proceed along in the future. Good, yes. Now, tell me, what is your feeling about your perception of plurality?
A little vague and confused.
Oh, never mind. How about if we do a little bit of arithmetic, that is, if you don't mind.
But of course, sir, willingly. I couldn't ask for anything better.
It is a new science. I suppose one should really call it a method rather than a science. Yes, it is also a therapy. Marie, will you be very long?
Yes, sir. I've just found the plate I was looking for. I'm going.
Yes, well, go back to the kitchen, please, when you're finished.
Yes, sir, I'm going. Beg your pardon, sir. But please be careful. Not too much excitement.
Don't be ridiculous, Marie. Nothing at all to worry about.
But that's what you always say.
Your insinuations are entirely without foundation. I am perfectly capable of behaving myself. After all, I am old enough.
But that's just it. You'd much better not start mademoiselle off with arithmetic. Arithmetic never did anyone any good. It makes you tired and upsets you.
Yes, well, I am too old for that now, and what business is it of yours? I know what I am doing. You have no right to be here anyway.
Very well, sir. Don't you go telling me I didn't warn you.
Not interested in your warnings, Marie.
So you must do as he thinks best.
I'm terribly sorry about that, mademoiselle. It's very stupid of her to worry so much. She thinks that I will tire myself. She is concerned for my health.
Oh, it's perfectly all right, sir. It shows that she is devoted to you. She must be very fond of you. Good servants are hard to find.
Yes, but it is stupid of her to be so nervous. Well then, shall we get back to our arithmetical sheet?
I follow you, sir.
Still sitting down, I see.
Just like you, sir.
Very good. Well then, shall we arithmetize a little?
I'll be pleased to, sir.
Very well. Then, would you mind telling me?
Not at all, of course, sir. Please go ahead.
What do 1 and 1 make?
1 and 1 make 2.
But that is very good. That is excellent, mademoiselle. You will have no trouble at all obtaining your doctorate.
Oh, I'm very pleased to hear it, sir. Especially coming from you.
Well then, perhaps we should continue then. What do 2 and 1 make?
3.
3 and 1?
4.
4 and 1?
5.
5 and 1?
6.
6 and 1?
7.
7 and 1?
8.
7 and 1?
Still 8.
Very good. 7 and 1?
8 again.
Excellent, perfect. 7 and 1?
8 for the 4th time. And sometimes 9.
Magnificent, magnificent, mademoiselle. You are sublime. Really, there is no need to progress any further. You are absolutely first-rate at arithmetic. perhaps we should try, that is if you're not too tired, some subtraction. Now, tell me, what is left when we take 3 from 4?
3 from 4. 3 from 4.
That is to say, what is 4 minus 3?
That makes 7?
No, mademoiselle, I'm sorry to contradict you. It doesn't make 7. You're muddling it up. Yes, 3 plus 4 makes 7. Now, 3 take away from 4, that makes... It's not a question of adding up. You see, now you have to subtract.
Yes, I see.
So 3 from 4, that makes how many?
4?
No, mademoiselle, it does not.
3 then.
No, it doesn't make 3. I'm terribly sorry.
3 minus 4. 4 minus 3. 3 take away from 4. 4 minus 3. I suppose it doesn't make 10.
Oh, dear. No, mademoiselle, it does not. You have a constant predilection for adding up. That is not enough. You must also integrate as well as disintegrate. 3 from 4 makes 7.
Can we count together, sir?
Yes, look. Suppose we try to solve this together. Yes. Could you count for me then, please?
1, 2, 3,
Oh,
4.
very good. You can count, all right? You can count up to what number?
I can count up to infinity!
That is impossible.
Up to 16 then?
Well, that is quite far enough. We must all be aware of our own limitations. Now, would you continue counting, please?
Yes, sir. 1, 2, then after 2 comes 3, 4.
Stop there. Now, what is the greater number, 3 or 4?
3 or 4. Which is greater?
Yes.
The greater number out of 3 and 4. In what way greater?
Well, some numbers are smaller than others. In the greater numbers, there are more units than there are in the smaller ones.
Than in the smaller numbers.
Unless, of course, the smaller numbers are composed of smaller units. If the units are very small, there may in fact be more units in the smaller numbers than in the bigger numbers. That is, if they are not the same units.
In that case, smaller numbers can be bigger than big numbers.
Yes, if you like, but that would take us too far. We don't need to go into that. I just want you to realise that there are other things apart from numbers. There are sums and totals, sizes, heaps of things such as ducks and drakes and cabbages and kings, etc. Yes. I just what we should do is we should keep things simple, and for the sake of simplicity, we shall assume these numbers are of the same kind. Now, if they're of the same kind, the larger number will have more units than the smaller number. That is, of course, if they are of the same kind.
The one that has the most will be the greatest. Now I understand, sir, you're equating quality and quantity.
That's a little too theoretical, mademoiselle, a little too theoretical. Don't worry about that. We shall instead work by an example. Our general conclusions can come later. Now we have the number 4 and we have the number 3, both composed of identical units. So which number is greater, the greater number or the smaller number?
I'm sorry, sir, but what do you mean by the greater number? Is it the one that's less small than the other one?
Yes, that's it. You're exactly right, mademoiselle.
Then it must be 4.
What is 4, greater or smaller than 3?
Smaller. No, greater!
Excellent. How many units are missing between 3 and 4?
Well, there aren't any units, sir. Between 3 and 4. 4 comes immediately after 3. There's nothing at all between 3 and 4.
No, that's not quite right, mademoiselle. This is doubtless my own fault.
Oh no, sir, the fault is entirely mine.
You've been clear enough. Mademoiselle, here are 3 matches. 1, 2, and 3. We have another one, makes 4. Now, watch carefully. I take 1 away. That leaves how many?
5. If 3 and 1 make 4, 4 and 1 make 5.
No, mademoiselle. You have a constant predilection for adding up, yes? But adding up is not enough. Subtraction is key as well. It is life, civilization, progress itself, yes?
Yes, sir.
Now watch carefully again, yes? We have 4 matches, right? I take one away. It is how many?
I don't know, sir.
Now, listen, I understand this is not easy, yes? But you have the intellectual effort required to come to an understanding. So, well then?
I don't seem to, sir. I really don't know, sir.
Let us try another example. Let us suppose that you have 2 noses.
Yes, sir.
Now, I pluck one of them off. How many do you have left?
None.
What do you mean none?
Well, it's just that you haven't plucked one off, and I've still got one now. And if you hadn't plucked it off, it wouldn't be there anymore.
No, that's not right. Let us assume you have 1 here.
Yes, and then?
And then I add another one. How many do you have?
2.
Very good. I add another one. How many do you have?
3 ears.
Right. I take one away. How many do you have?
2.
I take another away. How many do you have?
2.
No, I take another one away. I nibble it off.
2.
1.
2.
1.
2.
1.
2.
1.
2.
No. This is not working. This example is not convincing enough. Let me see. Let's suppose you have.
All 10 fingers.
Yes, if you like. Well, 10 fingers.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, how many would you have if you had 5?
10, sir.
No, that is wrong.
But I should, sir.
No, I tell you, you're wrong.
But you just told me I had 10.
And then I told you immediately afterwards that you had 5.
But I haven't got 5. I've got 10.
No. Listen, mademoiselle, I will explain this to you another way. You'll understand soon. Now let us, in the case of subtraction, limit ourselves to the numbers 1 to 5. Can you see, mademoiselle?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now here we have 1 stick, 2 sticks, 3 sticks, 4 sticks, and 5 sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are numbers. Now when we count the sticks, each stick is a unit, mademoiselle. Repeat what I've just said.
A unit, mademoiselle. Repeat what I just said.
Yes. The sticks numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the elements of numeration.
Yes, sir. Elements. Bigger set of sticks. Units and numbers.
Yes, it's 1 at a time. That is to say that all of arithmetic boils down to this.
Oh, yes, sir. Very good, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now, we can use these figures and such to calculate, to add and subtract.
The sticks of figures, units and numbers.
Yes, and then?
You can subtract 2 units from 3 units, but can you subtract 2 2s from 3 3s, or 4 units from 5 figures, or 3 numbers from 2 units?
No, mademoiselle, you cannot.
But why not, sir?
Because.
Because what, sir, since they're all the same?
Just because, yes. It boils down to an innate mathematical sense that you have inside of you. Either you have it or you don't.
There's nothing that can help me, then.
Listen, mademoiselle, if you don't understand these arithmetical principles, then you will hardly find work as a polytechnician, or even obtain work in a polytechnic school, or an establishment for infants, for that matter. Now, understand it is not easy. It's very, very abstract. But if you've not mastered these essential principles, then how are you to make a mental calculation such as, and this would be as easy as winking to the average engineer, such as this. What is 3,127,249,108 multiplied by 5,733,243,104?
That makes 13,319,498. Wait, I'm going to try that again.
All right.
That makes 19,390,2,844,164,508.
Right. No. That must make 19 quintillion, 164,509.
No, 508.
Oh, Joe, yes, yours is the correct product. 19 quintillion, 164,508. But if you don't understand these arithmetical principles, how on earth did you come to this conclusion?
Oh, it's really very simple, sir. As I can't depend on reasoning them out, I just learnt off by heart all the possible combinations of multiplication.
But the combinations are infinite.
I managed it anyway.
It's quite astounding. Quite astounding. Nevertheless, you allow me to point out that I am by no means satisfied, mademoiselle, and you must do without my congratulations. You see, for in mathematics, what counts, and you can't get away from counting in arithmetic, what counts is to understand what you are doing. You should have reasoned it out through a process of inductive and deductive mathematical reasoning, and that is why you must do all your calculations. Memory is a deadly enemy to mathematics, and though it has its place and it can be useful arithmetically speaking, memory is a bad thing. So I'm not at all happy about this. I'm afraid this will not do.
No, sir.
Let us move on to another, shall we?
Monsieur,
Now, it is a pity that that you are not more advanced in your mathematical studies.
Monsieur,
But what are you doing? Leave me alone. Go back to the kitchen and you're washing up, yes? You won't be able to go in for your full doctorate.
Oh, what a shame, sir.
Stop it, will you? That's enough of that. So instead, I think if you're really interested in the partial doctorate, I should show you the essentials of comparative linguistics and comparative philology. Yes,
no, monsieur,
yes.
no. I shouldn't do that if I were you.
What is the problem, Marie?
Of all things, not philology, monsieur. Philology is the worst of all.
The worst of all. What a funny thing to say.
That's enough. Leave the room.
Very well, monsieur, very well. But don't you go telling me I didn't warn you. Philology is the worst of all.
I am over 21, Marie.
Yes, sir. So you must do as he thinks best.
Shall we go on, mademoiselle?
Please, sir.
Right, I shall ask you then to follow this prepared course of mine, thanks to which in 15 minutes you will acquire the fundamental principles of comparative linguistic philology of the Neo-Spanish languages.
Oh, sir, how marvellous!
Silence! What's all this?
I'm sorry, sir.
Silence. Listen carefully. Now, Spanish, mademoiselle, is actually the mother language that gave birth to all the Neo-Spanish languages, amongst which we include Spanish, Latin, Portuguese, Italian, French, Sardinian, Romanian, Spanish, and Neo-Spanish. And in certain respects, we may also add Turkish. Turkey itself, however, rather closer to Greek, which is not surprising, seeing as Turkey is Greece's neighbour, and Greece lies closer to Turkey than either. You're right. Now, this is but one more illustration of a very important linguistic law, according to which geography and philology are twins. You may take notes, mademoiselle.
Oh, yes, sir.
Now, what distinguishes these languages one from the other and separates them from other linguistic groups comprising the Austrian or Neo-Austrian or the Habsburgian languages such as Esperantist, Helvetic, Monegasque, Swiss Andran, and the other diplomatic and technical languages, what distinguishes them, I say, is their striking resemblance to one another, so that it is extremely difficult to tell them apart. I am, of course, speaking of the Neo-Spanish languages themselves, which, however, can be differentiated thanks to their distinctive characteristics and unquestionable and indisputable evidence of their resemblance that renders their common origin indisputable and at the same time clearly differentiates them through the conservation that I have just therefore mentioned.
Oh.
Generalities.
Oh, sir?
You seem to be interested in this, all the better.
Yes, sir, I am.
Now, we may come back to this later, or perhaps not at all, who can say.
Oh, yes, sir.
Now, every language, mademoiselle, note this carefully and remember this until the day you die.
Oh, yes, sir, to the day I die, yes, sir.
And again, this is another fundamental principle. Every language is in fact only a manner of speaking, yes? Which inevitably implies it is made up of sounds or...
Phonies.
I was just about to say that. Don't dare your knowledge showing off like that. Now, just be quiet, pay attention.
Oh, very well, yes, sir.
Now, sounds, mademoiselle, should be caught in flight by the wings so that they do not fall on deaf ears. Consequently, when you have made up your mind to articulate this sound, you must straighten your neck and your chin like this, you see, and stand on your very tippy toes like this, yes?
Oh, yes, sir.
Quiet, sit down, listen. Now, you must let out the sounds as loud as you can, assisted by the full force of your lungs, like this, watch me. Butterfly, Trafalgar, pepper pot. Now, in this way, the sounds that are filled with warm air, weighing lighter than the air all around, will float on and on, no longer in danger of falling on deaf ears, bottomless pits that are veritable graves of lost sonorities, and if you emit sounds at an increased speed, they will automatically grapple onto one another, producing syllables, words, phrases, if need be, and by these groupings of more or less important sound arranged in purely irrational way, devoid of all sense, yes? And yet for that very reason able to maintain themselves in the upper air, without risk of falling at quite high altitude. Only words charged with significance dive deep, heavy with meaning, dive deep and always succumb in the end and crumble up and
Falling on deaf ears?
Yes, quite right, don't interrupt. Indescribable chaos, bursting like balloons. And so, mademoiselle, what is the matter with you?
I've got a toothache, sir.
Right, well, no matter, we're not stopping for a little thing like that,
Yes,
we shall
sir.
continue.
Oh, I got a
To
toothache.
continue!
Yes.
Right, now, summing up then, now learning to pronounce takes years and years, but thanks to science we can do it in a few minutes so that we can make sounds and words and anything you like, and you must realise that the air has to be pitilessly forced out of the lungs, made to pass gently over the vocal cords and brushing them so that like harps or leaves beneath the wing, they start quivering and trembling and vibrating and rustling and vibrating and whistling and bristling and whistling and...
I got a toothache, sir.
Yes, everything in motion, over the tongue, palate, lips. Finally, the words come through the nose, the mouth, the ears, the very pores of the skin, bringing into train the uprooted organs of speech that we have just named. A powerful, majestic swarm, no less improperly called the voice. Modulation in song, rising in terrible symphonic wrath. A procession, sheaves of assorted blossoms, sonorous conceits, labials, dentals, palatals, and the rest. Some soft and gentle, some harsh and violent.
Yes, sir, I've got a toothache.
Yes, we go on. We go on. Now, as for the Neo-Spanish languages, they are very such relations that we might almost think of them as second cousins. Moreover, they have the same Spanish, the H is unaspirated, yes? That is why it's so difficult to tell one from the other. That is why pronunciation is so important. I mean, pronunciation itself is worth an entire dialect. Let me present you a little story in parenthesis. It was when I was very young. I was only a child. I was doing military service. There was a friend of mine, a viscount. He had a terrible speech impediment. He couldn't say the letter F. Instead of F, he would say F. If he wanted to say fresh fields and pastures new, he would say fresh fields and pastures new. He would say filly instead of filly, fimble rigger instead of fimble rigger, fee, fi, fo, fum instead of I smell the blood of an Englishman, Philip instead of Philip, victory instead of victory, February instead of February, April, May instead of April, May, Gallier, Lafayette, and not as it should be pronounced Gallier, Lafayette, Napoleon instead of Napoleon, etc., instead of etc., and so on, etc. Only he was able to hide this defect thanks to his clever use of hats that no one ever noticed.
Yes, I got a toothache.
Yes, never mind, continue. Now, let us go on. We shall first examine the points of similarity, so later on we may better understand what distinguishes these languages from one another. The differences are scarcely perceptible to anyone not experienced in detecting them. Thus, all words in all languages...
Oh, yes, sir, I got a toothache.
Yes, we go on, are always the same, yes? The same endings, or all prefixes, or suffixes, or roots.
The roots of words square roots?
Square or cubic, it depends.
Oh, I got a toothache.
Right, to continue. Now, to give you an example, which is barely more than an illustration, take the word affront.
Oh, how am I to take it?
So any way you like, so long as you stop interrupting, but as long as you take it, yes?
I got a toothache.
Let us continue. I said let us continue. Take the word front.
Have you taken it?
Yes, I've got it. Oh, me too.
Right, word front is the root word in frontispiece. Also in effrontery, is-piece is the suffix, f is the prefix. They are so called because they do not alter, they do not want to.
Is that so, sir? Really?
Yes, to continue quickly now, these prefixes are of Spanish origin. I hope you realise that.
Yes, sir.
Now, to continue, you must also have noticed that they are the same in French, even in English. Right, mademoiselle, there's no way of altering them in Latin, Italian, or Portuguese, nor in Southern, Napolitan, Romanian, Neo-Spanish, Spanish, nor even in Oriental. Frontispiece, effrontery, always and invariably the same word, the same root, the same suffix, the same prefix in all the above-mentioned languages. And it is the same story for every language.
Those words mean the same thing in all languages?
Exactly. And besides, it's more of a concept than a word, yes? Right, now in any case, you always have the same meaning, the same composition, the same structure of sound, not only in the word, but in all the words that you can conceive in every language. For each single concept is expressed by one and the same word and its synonyms in all countries of the world. Leave your teeth alone!
I've got a toothache and have!
Let us go on. How, for example, would you say in English, the roses of my grandmother are as yellow as my grandfather who was born in Asia?
Oh, do they?
Come along now, that doesn't stop you from saying it.
In English?
Yes, in English.
You want me to say in English, the roses of my grandmother,
as yellow as my grandfather who was born in Asia.
Well, then one would say, in English, I think, the roses of my... Well, how do you say grandmother in English?
In English? Grandmother.
The roses of my grandmother are yellow. In English, you say yellow.
Yes, of course.
Are as yellow as my grandfather when he lost his temper.
No, who was born...
Oh, in Asia. Oh, I've got
That's
a
right.
toothache. I've got a toothache.
Yes, toothache. Never mind. Let's just go on. Look. Now, I'd like you to translate the sentence into Spanish and then into Neo-Spanish, yes?
In Spanish, it would be the roses of my grandmother are as yellow as my grandfather who was born in Asia. And
no, that's
in
wrong.
Neo-Spanish, it would be the roses of my grandmother are as yellow as my grandfather who was born in Asia.
Wrong! You have mixed them up, yes? You have used Spanish instead of Neo-Spanish and Neo-Spanish instead of Spanish. No, the other way around.
Oh, I've got a toothache and you're muddling everything up.
It is you who are muddling me up, yes? You should be more attentive. Now, I will say the sentence again for you in Spanish, and then in Neo-Spanish, and lastly in Latin. Now, you must repeat them after me. Now, be very careful, because the similarity is surprising. The similarities are identical, in fact. Right, let us go on. In Spanish, the roses of my grandmother are as yellow as my grandfather who was born in Asia. In Latin, the roses of my grandmother are as yellow as my grandfather who was born in Asia. Do you catch the distinction? Translate to Romanian.
How do you say roses in Romanian?
Come, roses, of course.
Oh, I thought it might be roses. Oh, how many toothache!
No, how could it be? Since in Oriental, roses is the translation of the French word roses and of the Spanish roses. Have you grasped it?
Oh, I'm very sorry, sir, but oh, how many toothaches! I don't hear the difference.
But it's simple! It's so perfectly simple! You just have to merely grasp these question of practice, yes, of these certain technical languages, and experience in these diverse languages, so very diverse in spite of the identical characteristics that they share, yes? I will try to give you a key.
Oh, toothache.
Now, what distinguishes them is neither the words, which are absolutely the same, nor the structure of the sentence, which is similar in each case, nor the intonation, which offers no variation, nor the rhythm of speech. What distinguishes them, I say, is that... Are you listening to me?
I've got a toothache!
Look, will you listen to me, mademoiselle? You're making me very angry.
And I've had enough of it, sir. I've got a toothache!
And at last, will you listen to me?
Yes, all right, I'll listen. I'll try.
Right.
Go on.
What distinguishes them, one from the other, one on one hand Spanish with the H unaspirated and the mother language, and on the other hand is
Is what?
it is an intangible thing, yes, an intangible thing that you can only grasp through a certain length of time after much difficulty and long experience.
Really?
Yes, really, mademoiselle. And the only way to gain such experience is to have a knack. And the only way to have a knack is to study and study and still more study.
Toothache.
There are, however, certain peculiar cases in which the words do vary from one language to the next. But we cannot use these examples for our basis for our studies, for they are, for all intents and purposes, exceptional.
Are they really, sir? Oh, how many toothaches!
Don't interrupt! And don't make me angry, for if I lose my temper... As I was saying, then, yes, those exceptional cases which are said to be easily distinguishable, or easily differentiated, or conveniently distinct, if you prefer. I repeat, if you prefer, for you are notice you are no longer paying attention.
I've got a toothache!
Now look, as I was saying, that certain words applied in certain languages in current use differ totally from one language to another, with the result that the language spoken in each case is easier to identify. I will give you an example. The Neo-Spanish expression, widely heard in Madrid, "My country is near Spain," becomes in Italian, "My country is..."
Near Spain?
No! My country is Italy. Just tell me now, by a simple process of deduction, how you say Italy in French.
I've got a toothache!
And yet it's not that difficult. For the word Italy, we have in French the word France, which is the exact translation. My country is France, and France in Oriental becomes the Orient. My country is the Orient, and Portuguese for Orient is Portugal. Thus the Oriental expression, my country is the Orient, becomes, when translated into Portuguese, my country is Portugal, and so on and so on.
Oh, that's enough! I've got a toothache!
Yes, yes, enough of that! I'll have it out soon. Now listen, here, I'll give you another example, yes? Take the word, capital, yes? Now, the word capital takes on a different meaning according to the language that one is speaking, so that if a Spaniard says, "I live in the capital," the word capital won't have the same meaning as it does for a Portuguese who says, who uses the same expression, "I live in the capital." And it's the same for a Frenchman, a Neo-Spanish, Romanian, Latin, Sardinian. As soon as you hear someone say, Mademoiselle, I'm saying this for your benefit, blast you. As soon as you hear someone say the expression, "I live in the capital," you will know at once whether it is Spanish or Neo-Spanish or French or Oriental or Romanian or Latin, for you merely have to guess the capital the person who makes the remark is thinking about at the very moment he pronounces the word. But these are the only precise examples I can give you.
Oh, Lord, my toothache!
Silence! Or I will blow your brains out!
Just you try, windbag!
Not another word!
Toothache.
Right. The most, how should I say, the most, paradoxical, yes? Yes, that's the word. The most paradoxical thing is that hundreds of people who are completely lacking in education speak these different languages. Did you hear what I've just said?
Speak these different languages. Did you hear what I just said?
You were lucky that time. The lower class speaks Spanish sprinkled unbeknownst to them with Neo-Spanish words, whilst all the time they think that they are talking Latin, or else they speak a Latin sprinkled with Oriental words, while under the impression they are talking Romanian, or a Spanish sprinkled with Neo-Spanish, while firmly convinced it is Sardanapol or Spanish. Are you following me?
Yes, I am. What do you want?
Not so much cheek, my little poppet. Well, you'd better look out. Now, but the capital, yes, the capital, mademoiselle. Those who say, for example, in Latin, which they take to be Spanish, "I have got pains in my chilblains," I was perfectly well understood by a Frenchman who doesn't know a word of Spanish, as though he was being addressed in his own language, and what's more, he believes it is his own language. And so the Frenchman will reply in French too, like this: "I too have pains in my chilblains." And he will make himself understood perfectly, well, by the Spaniard, who will be positive that the remark was made in the best Spanish, and that Spanish was the language being spoken. Whereas in reality it's not Spanish or French, but Latin, spoken by Neo-Spanish. Will you stop moving your legs, please, and stop stamping your feet?
I've got a toothache.
Now, how does it come about that while the lower classes talk without knowing what language they're speaking, while each person actually believes he is speaking a language that in fact he is not, they all somehow manage to communicate effectively?
Wonders will never cease.
It is simply one of the inexplicable and quaint peculiarities of vulgar empiricism of the plebs, not to be confused with experience, a paradox, yes, a curious little sidelight, one of the little oddities of human nature, a part of its whimsical freakishness, And in point of fact, what comes into play here, in one word, is quite simply instinct. Right, it would be better if you could keep your eyes off the flies and you would pay attention. You know, I'm not the one studying for their partial doctorate, yes? I have my complete doctorate, my super doctorate, and my super total diploma. I mean, can't you understand that I'm only trying to help you?
I've got a toothache.
No manners, no manners. But it can't go on. Not like this, not like this, not like this, not like this!
I'm paying attention.
Yes, very good, at last. Well then, I've always said to you that we learn best through examples, yes. So what I will do then is show you how to pronounce in all the different languages the word knife.
All right, if you want to, after all.
Marie! Marie! He's not listening to me. Marie! 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 Why are you not coming when I ask you to come? You must come at once. You must follow my orders, yes? This girl here, she doesn't understand a thing. Not a thing!
Don't take on so, monsieur. Think what it may lead to. It will take you further than you want to go. You'll go too far. You know you will.
I shan't be able to stop myself.
Heard that before. I'd like to see it happen.
I've got a toothache.
What did I tell you? It's beginning. That's the sign.
What sign? What are you talking about?
It's the final symptom. The worst symptom.
Nonsense! 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 No, Marie. I wanted you to help me find the knives, yes? The Spanish, Latin, Neo-Spanish, Italian, Romanian knives, yes?
You needn't think you can count on me.
Here's, I found one, mademoiselle. Just the one, but it will have to do for all the languages, yes? Now, what you need to do is look at the object in question and imagine it belongs to the language that you are speaking, yes?
I've got a toothache.
Say it after me, nigh, like nigh. Like,
What is it, this one? French, Italian, or Spanish?
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just say it after me. Nigh, like.
No.
That's it. Nigh. Say it again.
No, I can't take it anymore. Besides, my teeth ache and my feet ache and my head aches. Ugh.
Say it! Knife. Say it! Knife!
What?
Say it!
You
Knife!
my ears ache too. What a voice you've got. How piercing it is.
Say it! Knife!
No, my ears are aching. I'm aching all over.
I will soon have those ears of yours off, my little puppet, then I won't hurt you all the way! Ah!
You're hurting me. You're the one who's hurting me.
No, look. Come now. Look. Say it again. Say knife. Knife.
Knife.
That's
It must be Neo-Spanish.
it. Yes. Yes, if you like, but hurry up. We don't have much time. You're getting too big for your boots. Look, come on, knifey.
Oh, my head aches. My head aches.
Say it. Knife.
Oh, no, I'm aching all over my neck, my throat, oh, my shoulders,
Say
my breasts.
it properly. Knife.
Knife. All my hips. Knife. My thighs.
Yes, there you're saying it. Knife.
Knife my throat.
Very good. Now don't break my windows.
Knife.
The knife can kill. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, the knife can kill. Ah!
Trollop! Oh, no. Mademoiselle? Mademoiselle? Are you all right? The lesson is finished now. You can go home. I killed her. With my knife. With my knife. Money! 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 Come quick, money! Oh, no, it's all right, Marie. I don't need you anymore, Marie. I don't need you.
You pleased with your pupil then? She learned a lot from her lesson?
Yes, she did, but she's still here. She doesn't want to go.
Well.
But it's not my fault, Marie, dear Marie.
Who was it then? Who else was it? Me?
I don't know, but perhaps it was.
Or was it the cat?
Perhaps it was. I don't know.
And it's the 40th time today. And every day, it's the same story. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? And at your age too. You'll go and make yourself ill. And soon there won't be any more pupils left. And a good thing too.
It's not my fault. She wouldn't listen. She wouldn't pay attention. She was a bad student. She was a bad student.
Liar.
And anyway, it's none of your business. Forgive me, Millie.
Oh, you little murderer, revolting little swine. Wanted to do that to me, did you? But I'm not one of your blessed pupils. You go and put that knife back where you found it. Go along now. And you think that I gave you proper warning only a little while ago? Arithmetic leads to philology, and philology leads to crime.
You said philology was the worst of all.
It all comes to the same in the end.
Well, when you said philology was the worst of all, I thought you meant it was the hardest to learn.
Liar. Old fox you. A clever man like you doesn't go around making mistakes about what words mean. You can't fool me.
I didn't mean to kill her!
At least, are you sorry you did it?
Yes. Oh, yes, Marie. Yes, I am. I'm very sorry. Very sorry.
Can't help but feel for you. Come now, you're not such a bad boy after all, hey? You just have to work to make things right. But don't you go doing it again? Why? Could give you heart trouble.
What are we going to do, Marie?
We're going to bury her, along with the other 39. 40 coffins that we'll make. Called the undertakers, and my boyfriend, Auguste, the priest. All of the Reeves.
Yes, it's a good idea. Thank you, Marie.
Come to think of it, it's hardly worth asking Auguste. Not when you're a bit of a priest yourself when you want to be, if you can believe what people say.
Not too expensive though. The Reeves. She hasn't paid for her lesson.
Don't trouble yourself. We'd better cover her with my apron, though. She's not decent. And then we'll drag her away.
Yes, very well. What if the police come? What if they look in the coffins? What if they look inside? What?
Don't worry. We'll just say they're empty. Besides, no one will ask any questions. All are used to it.
Yes, but still.
Look, if you're frightened, just put this on, and you have nothing to worry about. There, it's political.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you. I feel much better now.
That's all right. Well, monsieur, are you ready?
I'm ready, Mary. Be careful not to hurt her.
Yes, I'm coming. Just a minute.
Good old hurry, this one. Good morning, mademoiselle. Are you the new pupil? Have you come for your lesson? The professor's expecting you. Come on in, and I'll go and tell him you're here. Come on in, won't you?